Well, folks, welcome into This Week in Pearl. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and well, we are starting off 2022 very special. We are here at the Capitol building, and we are in the ceremonial office of the Governor. And on our show this week, Governor Tate Reeves. Governor, we cannot be more excited to have you on. Happy New Year to you.
Well, Happy New Year to you and to all the citizens of Pearl. What a privilege this is for me to come on this show and talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the state and in the region.
Well, to say that your time in office so far has been interesting would be a severe understatement, is it not?
Well, no 2 days have been the same. I can tell you that. It's been a challenge from the beginning, obviously inheriting the prison crisis and of course the scandal at the Department of Human Services and many other challenges within state agencies, but also the number of federally declared disasters that we've had to maneuver through. The good news is I had experience working first as the Chief Financial Officer of the state and then as Lieutenant Governor, navigating the process when dealing with the federal government and the FEMA. But when you just look at the sheer number of those crises, it's been a challenge. You go back to 1972, which is when we initially began keeping data. The most federally declared disasters Mississippi's ever had in any one year has been 4. In my first 14 months in office, we had 14. And you've worked in that area before, and so you understand the long hours that can come with that. But we've tried to do during the first 2 years in office, it's the same thing I've done my entire career, which is just tell people the truth. If you tell people the truth, give them the facts, then they tend to be able to make good decisions for themselves and they can protect themselves and protect their families. And throughout the pandemic, which clearly has been a challenge, we've really tried to focus not only on saving lives, but also saving livelihoods, recognizing that every single job is important to whomever utilizes that job to put food on the table for their families. And so we've worked hard to make sure that we kept businesses open, we kept our economy open. And I think when you look at our unemployment rates and you look at population trends and other things, people around the nation are noticing.
I think one of the things that should not be lost on people is that you have never sacrificed, it doesn't appear, you've never sacrificed public health for our livelihoods, but you've been able to manage and strike a balance to keep public health the priority, but then also keep it very business friendly, business open, and educationally open as well.
Well, there's no question that when you look at, you mentioned education, that's a prime example. There's no doubt that there are risks from the pandemic standpoint to kids being in the classroom. But having the perspective and recognizing that there are also risks to kids not being in the classroom. And in fact, in my opinion, and I think more and more politicians around the country are recognizing this, the risk associated with kids not being in the classroom is actually greater than the risk associated with them being in the classroom. When you think about the mental health challenges that we've had across the nation over the last couple of years because kids haven't been able to, in some areas of the country, talk to their friends, talk to their neighbors. I mean, we as a people, there are exceptions obviously, but as a people, we are social people. We like to get out and communicate and talk and play ball and kick a ball around in the yard. And you've got to recognize that, and there's no question that while remote learning is something that we can do for a very short period of time, the best way for kids to be learning in Mississippi is for those kids to be in the classroom. And so we tried to figure out a way to do it and do it in a safe manner, and I think we've, by and large, thanks in large part to hard work by a lot of people, including our administrators in our schools as well as our teachers, we've been able to find a balance there as well.
Well, I know in talking to our folks at the Pearl Public School District, they can't thank you enough following your guidance and the health department that they have stayed open. And you can see a big difference between how the kids are performing not only on the state tests, but in daily classroom assignments too.
No question. Look, you can see it right here in our state. We had about 90% of our kids back in the classroom as early as July of last year. But even so, there were some kids that didn't get in the classroom last year, and the results are pretty dramatic. The differences are huge in those who are in the classroom and those who are not. It's going to help Mississippi as a whole on a relative basis when we're compared to other states, because such a higher percentage of kids in so many other states were not in the classroom. But at the end of the day, it still has been a difficult time. It's been a difficult time on our teachers. It's been a difficult time on our students. But I couldn't be more proud of parents and kids and administrators and teachers and school board members and really people across the board that have said, you know what, this is hard, but we're willing to do hard, because what's in our best interest of our kids is to do hard under these difficult circumstances.
You know, you remember, and many of us remember, the hardships that we endured in 2005 from Hurricane Katrina. Now I think that the country is kind of seeing it on a larger scale, because people's lives were disrupted for more than a year that lived on the Gulf Coast. You know, you had kids that were living in trailers, you had kids that weren't being able to socialize. You know, we got schools back open quickly, but on a grander scale, you're seeing what it's like with a pandemic to completely have your world upended. And, you know, would you say that that's a fair comparison?
Well, Greg, I probably appreciate that as much as most, simply because I have a mother-in-law who was a principal of a school in the Gulfport School District during Hurricane Katrina, who literally bought a motorhome and lived in the motorhome in the parking lot of her school so that she could get the school back open just a few weeks after Hurricane Katrina hit. It certainly was not a lifestyle that she particularly enjoyed, but it was one that was necessary while things occurred, because the most important parallel there is Governor Barber and his team at the time recognized that the best way to get people back into Gulfport or into the Mississippi Gulf Coast was to have their kids in school. And so those schools got open very, very quickly. And so I think there is a very, very important parallel there. And now we're seeing it on a larger scale, but it's certainly true. One of the things that we really were concerned about post-Hurricane Katrina is, will the people that have had to move all over the country, will they actually come back? We wanted them to come back, and so now what we're seeing is those population trends in those areas where schools have been closed down for a long period of time. A lot of people either aren't coming back or they're moving. They're making the decision to move into other areas that have been open for business, that have had their kids in schools, and we're seeing some reversing of some population trends even here in Mississippi as well.
Well, one of the great population trends that we appreciate in Pearl and in Rankin County as a whole, man, are we growing. And you know, being from Rankin County yourself, it is a fun time to be in Rankin County, is it not?
There's no doubt about it. Look, I grew up in Florence. My dad's business has been in the city of Pearl for as long as, well, since he began his career, and that was many, many years ago. And so what we're seeing in terms of increased capital investment, and it's happening throughout the entire county, as you correctly mentioned earlier, but certainly happening in and around the city of Pearl. Just if you look at the sales tax increases, for instance, over the last 5 years and over the last 10 years, pretty significant growth in receipts. And that's just a sign of economic activity. That's a sign of people coming to the city of Pearl to eat, to go to a baseball game, to go to one of the outlet malls. And that's a big positive. And that's something that I think a trend that is going to continue. Now we're beginning to see in the city of Pearl, as well as throughout Rankin County, but specifically in Pearl, more and more home builders, for instance, looking to build new homes. Cities and counties in our state are funded largely by property taxes, and so as new homes come in and new people move in, not only does that lead to more sales tax revenue because they buy groceries and they buy other things, but it also leads to more property tax receipts. And so a thriving community has not only increasing sales tax receipts, but also increasing applications for new home purchases, and we're seeing both of those in the city of Pearl.
The wonderful thing too is our mayor, Jake Wyndham, kind of follows in your footsteps, because he believes in a fiscally conservative leadership style, and he has absolutely done that. There is an abundance of sales tax revenue, but it's okay, let's keep the bank full and let's only spend what we need to spend right now, and that's the way that you've kind of governed the state as well. No doubt. The mayor and I have known each other for a long, long time, and I'm really proud of the job that he has done in the city of Pearl. He's really stepped up and shown to be a great leader
across the board, but particularly in fiscal matters. He obviously came in at a time, and I met with him when I was lieutenant governor, and inherited a challenging fiscal situation. And he made it very clear from the beginning, working with the council, that fiscal responsibility matters. It matters, and it's really, his focus on that is paying dividends now, because individuals do not want to move into a town or a city or a community that has major financial problems. The reason they don't want to move because they know that ultimately it may lead to tax increases, and it may cost them more to do business, or cost them more to live in that particular community. And so the long-term strategy of getting control of the city's finances is going to pay dividends for many years in the future.
Well, one of the things that is paying dividends right now are the infrastructure projects that are going on, not only in the city of Pearl, but in Rankin County. You have some major projects that the state has been graciously helpful with. You know, we have the East Metro Parkway, which is going to open up I-20 all the way to Lakeland Drive through Brandon from Cross Gates. We have the West Rankin Parkway, which is going to take Pearson Road, which is going to get you to Lakeland Drive much, much faster. And, you know, the Pearl-Richland Intermodal, which we're going to be able to finally fly over the train tracks there and open up Richland to get people down to Florence much quicker as well. So major arteries opening up thanks to big state projects.
Well, no question that infrastructure matters when people are looking at where they're going to locate their businesses and where they're going to locate their families. Getting to and from places is really important. I love the projects that are ongoing. We've been working for at least 10 years on most of these projects, and there are many people who've been working longer than that, by the way. But we took an interest in the East Metro and the West Rankin Parkways specifically when I got elected lieutenant governor, because it clearly opens up not only so much more room for development, but it also opens up more opportunities for people throughout the metro area. Being able to go from Highway 25 to Interstate 20 really matters, and so I couldn't be more pleased to see the third phase of the East Metro being worked on as we speak. I actually flew into the airport the other day, and I actually saw some movement going on there, and that just warms my heart. And clearly, the West Rankin is moving forward as well. And so, again, we get those projects done. It opens up more opportunity for economic development, more opportunity for job creation, more opportunity to move people around, and clearly, the project that's been going on Highway 49 going south, it seems like that was begun whenever the dinosaurs were roaming the earth. But it appears that we're now at a time where we can actually see the end, and what we need now, and you mentioned it earlier, is we need to connect Richland to Pearl in an additional way. And so the third project you mentioned is one way in which to do that, and one that I know people have been working on for many years, but it seems like there's more and more momentum to get that done.
You know, the ice storm once again showed us the importance of these new projects last year when Interstate 20 was shut down for a period of time. We have no problem getting people east and west in Rankin County. The problem has always been north-south, and opening up these arteries when the interstate has to be shut down to get people up to Lakeland Drive, to be able to get them up to I-55 when a portion of it is shut down, I think is critical.
Well, and that's it. When you think about the stack, which is obviously I grew up in the metro area, and when you think about the stack, there's a lot of advantages to elevating roadways. There are also some disadvantages, and one of those disadvantages is when it is very cold weather and when it does get icy and precipitation occurs when the temperature is below 32, it makes it really difficult for that stack to get opened up. And we have great folks at the Mississippi Highway Patrol and at the Department of Transportation that will work all night to try to get it ready. But even so, it leads to some dangerous driving. And so to have more roadways and more arteries going north and south, as you mentioned, is certainly something that's very, very important to commerce. Because if you're in the business of delivering things east or west or north or south, and you can't get through the stack in central Mississippi, it gets really difficult, and that can be costly. And one of the things that I learn every day as I talk to more CEOs and more business development opportunities, logistics really do matter, and that's one of the things between workforce development, workforce training, and logistics that we have an advantage that we've got to take care of, but to do so we've got to continue to invest in that infrastructure in the region.
Well, as we look forward to this legislative session, a lot of people don't understand that it is a true sausage-making process that goes on under this dome here. What are the things that you're looking forward to most, or that the people should be on the eye out for as we go through this session?
Well, it is a sausage-making process, and it has been correctly said many times that you don't want to watch sausage get made, but you don't mind eating it on Saturday morning. So, look, the number one thing on my agenda is the elimination of the income tax. We live in a state that has Texas to our west, Florida to our east, and Tennessee to our north. All three of those states do not have income taxes. And so when we're trying to recruit business and industry into the state, or when we're trying to recruit people into the state, it puts us at a competitive disadvantage. And so we believe, given the fact that our economy has been booming, the fact that our unemployment rates in November were at 3%, well below the national average, and quite frankly well below anywhere we've been in our state in a long time, at least any time that I can find. And of course in Rankin County that unemployment rate is down around 2% as of November. And really we're at a point now where if you want a job, you can get a job. And in the old days we used to have a lot of people out looking for jobs. Now we have a lot of jobs out looking for people. But we want to make sure that the jobs that we have out looking for people are higher paying and better jobs than what we've seen in the past. And so that's why you're going to see us focus on eliminating the income tax, investing in our people through more investment in workforce development and workforce training our people for the jobs of the next 50 years, not necessarily the jobs of the last 50 years, because we're in an ever-changing economic environment. And then also, we want to recognize that, as I mentioned earlier, the great work of our teachers over the last several years, and quite frankly over the last 10 years, when you start thinking about the fact that in each of the last 2 years on the nation's report card, and this is something very few people know, and so I've got to start talking more about it because I want to brag on what's going on in our state when good things are happening, and in the realm of education, good things are happening. In each of the last 2 years on the NAEP testing results, Mississippi is #1 in the nation in improvement over a 10-year period. #1 in the nation. We need to be shouting that from the rooftops. I believe that as conservatives and as Republicans, we ought to we should reward success, and it's the reason I've made a significant teacher pay raise proposal. There are others that are going to be made throughout the legislative session, and we just hope that we can come together and put more money in teachers' pockets, first as a reward and as a thank you, but also in the long term for our ability to attract more and more teachers into that particular field. And then, of course, public safety is critically important. In central Mississippi, we have seen what's happened in the city of Jackson, most recently in the year that ended December 31, 2021. There have been those who have reported that the city of Jackson had more homicides per capita than any other city in the nation. And we got to get control of that, and we want to work with the mayor in Jackson. We want to work with the police chief in Jackson, but we want to invest more in Capitol Police. We believe that public safety is a team sport, and we need the sheriff of Rankin County and the police chief in Pearl working with the Capitol Police and Madison County and Mississippi Highway Patrol, state law enforcement, because presence matters. And so we're going to invest in the Capitol Complex Improvement District that was created a couple years ago. We're going to build those relationships with our neighbors our neighbors in Rankin County, and we think that's critically important, and we think we can get control of what has become a dangerous situation in the city of Jackson. Well,
we certainly know that our police chief, Dean Scott, who knows Jackson very, very well, and Sheriff Brian Bailey, they're always willing to help. They have, as if Jackson succeeds, we all succeed, because it is our capital city, and that, I think, is the idea that everybody wants to rally around.
Dean and Brian couldn't be better partners. They're fantastic at the jobs that they do, and I've obviously known them for quite some time as well personally, but our teams are working closely together because we all recognize that if bad things happen anywhere in the metropolitan area, it can slide out and it can put our citizens in Rankin County and the city of Pearl at risk as well, and so we want to work together to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, Governor, it's going to all time out very perfectly that when you get to the end of the session, our Mississippi Braves will be opening up their new season, and they will be the defending AA South champions. Of course, the parent club, the Atlanta Braves, World Series champions. We know you're a big sports fan. We cannot wait to get you out to Trustmark Park.
Well, it's a real jewel here in central Mississippi. It's a great place to watch a baseball game. It's great to watch the Mississippi Braves. We're lucky to have the AA affiliate here in central Mississippi. There's a lot of Braves fans throughout Mississippi. A lot of us, including me, grew up watching Dale Murphy on TBS, and so it's great to have a connection with that particular team. We're proud of the individuals who have come through the Mississippi Braves organization that helped the parent club win the World Series last year. That was and a lot of them were here.
That was a who's who of Pearlites that were on there.
A lot of them have been here, and I've gotten to see a lot of them play ball out there at Trustmark Park. And then, of course, the great opportunities when we bring the collegiate teams in as well, State and Ole Miss and Southern, and the games that they play out there. It's just a great place to watch a ball game. It's one of the premier minor league parks in America, and it's good to have it in Pearl, Mississippi.
And from what I understand, the Governor's Cup should be back this year between Ole Miss and State.
The governor plans to be at the Governor's Cup, throwing out the first pitch and enjoying watching the game this year, and so I'm hopeful that the schedules work out as I appreciate it. I actually was looking at the schedules the other day. State and Ole Miss play each other in a weekend series. I believe it's in Oxford. And then the following Tuesday come to Pearl, so it's actually a 4-game series. It's almost like a big league road trip, so it'll be good for those kids.
That will be awesome, and it'll be great to have you back over there. You know, I don't think people say it enough, but thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your fiscal conservative leadership, and you really instill the values of Rankin County, I think, statewide.
Well, thank you. You're kind to say that. We've worked hard at it. We want to instill the economic growth and the low unemployment rate of Rankin County statewide. That's what we're trying to do at this point. That would be a great accomplishment.
All right. Well, Governor, thank you for having us. It was an honor.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Y'all stay tuned. We will have more This Week in Pearl right after this.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Well, again, we'd like to thank Governor Tate Reeves for taking the time for talking with us and giving us some insight into what's going on over at the state capitol, as well as what's going on in Rankin County and his thoughts of what's happening here in Pearl. Some information to pass along to you. City offices will be closed this coming Monday, January the 17th, in observance of the Martin Luther King birthday. So city offices will be closed on Monday, January the 17th. Right now, registration is ongoing for baseball and softball, and we encourage you to get signed up. Our all-new fields are ready to go. We like to call them our Fields of Dreams, and this is your chance to have your youngsters out there for the first time on these new fields. Softball and baseball. For softball, ages 4 to 5, $45 for T-ball, as is baseball age 4. And for the older kids, softball ages 6 to 14 and baseball 5 to 15 will be $85. Now that's their ages as of May 1st, 2022 for baseball, and for softball that's their age as of December the 31st, 2021, which just passed. Registration is open until January the 31st. Go online to pearlparksandrec.com or you can call 601-932-3541 for more information. To get city text alerts, we have a great service for you. Take out your cell phone and simply text the word PEARL to 91896. That's the word PEARL to 91896, and you'll get important text alerts sent right to your phone. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under City of Pearl Government. And you can go to our website 24 hours a day to find out answers to frequently asked questions and get a phone directory. Find out anything you need to know going on here in the City of Pearl. That's at cityofpearl.com. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of This Week in Pearl. Until next time, remember that Pearl is a great place to live, work, and play, which makes us the jewel of the crossroads.